Hello friends. Now in this session, we are going to discuss about Workmen's Compensation Rule 1924. So in the previous session, we have already discussed about the Workmen Compensation Act 1923, where there are 4 chapters, 36 sections, and 4 schedules. So we have discussed about the details of these sections, schedules, and their calculations under the Workmen Compensation Act 1923. Now we are going to discuss in short related to the Workmen Compensation Rule 1924, which come into exist after this act, that is Workmen Compensation Act 1923. So in this rule also, the reference is main schedules. So there are 4 schedules, that is injuries and loss of earning capacity details, list of different 48 categories of workmen, then list of occupational diseases, and age factors to calculate the compensation respectively. So what exactly the workman is, and for that definitions, the definition is directly linked to the schedule, and in that schedule there are 48 categories of workmen are mentioned. Then related to the calculations, which is directly linked to the occupational diseases, so again we have to refer the schedule in which these occupational diseases are listed out in the different parts like part A, part B, part C. And for the compensation calculations, we have to use the age factor. So depending on the age of that workman, the age factor is different one. So we have already discussed that age factor for 18 is different, for 30 is different, for 40 is different, and likewise. So we have to refer all these schedules first, and then only we can calculate the amount of the compensation which is liable for that injury, for that accident, to that workman or to the dependent. So under section 32 of the Workmen Compensation Act, these rules were notified on 26/6/1924. So there are around 52 rules are mentioned under this Workmen Compensation Rule 1924. The initial rules are the basic rules, and now I'm going to focus only the main rules. So rule number 6 to 10 is related to the deposit of compensation. In a death case, the compensation shall be deposited with Form A, and in other cases with Form AA. So if fatality is occurred due to this accident, then we have to mention the details in the Form A. If there is no fatality, then we have to fill the Form AA. Then the receipt will be in Form B, and the statement of disbursement to be given to the employer, that is by the commissioner, shall be in the Form C. So we have already discussed all the compensation is generally through the commissioner of this Workmen Compensation Act, and it is clearly mentioned that shall be in the form of C. A dependent's application for order to deposit compensation shall be in Form G. So if there is a fatality case, if there is a death, then the dependent is liable to get that compensation, and that is why this Form G is there, that is dependent's application. Then deposit under section 8 subsection 2, that is any sum more than ₹10 shall be in the Form D, and its receipt shall be in the Form E. The commissioner shall display a list of deposit received by him and invest for the benefit of dependents in government securities or post office, cash certificates, or post office saving banks. Then the rule number 11 and 12 is related to the reports of accidents. So whatever the accident is there, that is the fatal or non-fatal. So we have to make the report, and this report of accident under section 10B shall be in the form EE. An employer can represent or present a memorandum of inquiry of any accidents. So the details of all the accidents should be listed out in this form, that is form EE, and then it's responsibility of employer to make the detailed report of this accident. Then rule number 13 to 18 is related to the medical examination. So the employer shall arrange free of charge the medical examination at his premises or at the workman's residence. So the time will be between 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. if the workman does not consent to other time. Then a workman receiving half monthly payment will be examined at his residence and not more than twice in the first month or more than once in any subsequent month. After suspension of right to compensation, if the workman offers himself for examination, he shall be examined within 72 hours at the place and time fixed by the employer. So woman shall be examined by in presence of a female doctor. So these are the details regarding the medical examination, when it is to be done, how it is to be done, and it should be completed within this period only. Then the chapters, that is chapter 5 to 8, or it is also called as sometimes part 5 to 8, are of procedure, transfer, appointment of representatives, and memorandum of agreements. So these details are fulfilled in the different forms like form K, form L, form M, and notice to party should be included in the form O. So these are the various forms which are available with reference to this chapter 5 to 8 regarding the procedure, transport, appointment of representatives and memorandum. For figures of compensated injuries and amount of compensation paid under the Workmen Compensation Act, see the schedules. So we have to refer first the schedules and then only we can calculate all this amount of compensation. You can also refer the IS 3786 where the injuries, their rates, the accidents, their types, all this classification is given. So we have already discussed all these IS 3786 in detail in one of the video. Then compensation for occupational diseases. Now it is very specific. So compensation for occupational diseases is payable under section 3 of Workmen Compensation Act 1923. So we already discussed this part. I'm just going through it. Contracting of this disease peculiar to the employment and specified in part ABC of Schedule 3 is to be considered as an injury by accident arising out of and in the course of the employment. So the first condition that it should be done in the course of employment only. It is applicable to the person and the disease is there in the course of employment. And depending on the case, that may be applicable from the part A or from part B or from part C. So for part A, disease compensation is payable irrespective of any length of service as the incident rate or possibility of such diseases is high and very obvious. So part A is directly related to the diseases where the compensation is payable irrespective of any length of service. So how much service is there, that is not important in this case for part E, as the incident rate or the possibility of such diseases is high and very obvious. But when we are concerning regarding the part B, the diseases where the compensation is payable provided a service of 6 months is completed. Now here, the length of service is having importance, and the length of service is more than 6 months. As these diseases are very specific to certain chemicals, and their incidence rate is slightly lower than that of part A diseases. So here, the comparison and the importance of these diseases. Then part C diseases, compensation is payable irrespective of length of service, and even if the affected worker has worked under one or more employers, as these are lung diseases and their effect is delayed, that is visible after 5 to 10 years of service. So in the part C, these are the diseases which can be identified even after 5 to 10 years of services, and it is clearly mentioned that it is directly linked to the lungs. So it is the lung related diseases. So compensation is payable for part B and C diseases even after the cessation of the service. Then part D diseases and for working under more than one employer, all the employers are liable to pay compensation in proportion decided by the Workmen Compensation Commissioner. Suppose if 10 lakh amount is decided by that Workmen Compensation Commissioner, then depending on the service, the length of service, if the person is given service to the A company for 2 years, then for B company for 3 years, then C company for 4 years, and D company for 1 year likewise, then we have to divide these 10 lakh amount in proportionate manner, and then that employer has to give the compensation to that person. For any other diseases, if it is directly attributable to a specific injury by accident arising out of and in the course of employment, the compensation is payable. So for any other cases, the compensation is also liable and payable. Compensation is not payable if any suit for damages is filed in the court, or a suit for damages shall not be maintainable if a claim for compensation is filed before the Workmen Compensation Commissioner, or if any agreement is made between the workman and his employer to pay in accordance with the Workmen Compensation Act. So these are the different conditions where it is payable, where it is not payable. The doctor shall refer Schedule 1 while assessing percentage loss of earning capacity. So we have to refer the Schedule 1 for assessing the percentage loss of earning capacity. So whether it is a total permanent disablement or it is a partial permanent disablement, whether it is a temporary or whether it is a permanent total disablement or a partial disablement likewise. So the maximum period of half monthly payment for temporary disablement is 5 years, and wage limit is 4,000 is not applicable in this case. So that is depends on the condition and the case. So there are certain examples and the case studies are also given in the explanation of this act and rule. So section 4 and schedule 1, 3 and 4 are to be seen simultaneously. Monthly wage limit is 4,000. For example, if death occurs due to any disease mentioned in schedule 3, payment should be as per the section 4(1)(a). So for all these calculation, we must observe some of the examples for the calculation purpose. So let us discuss example 1. A worker of 24 years and drawing monthly wages of 3,800 dies due to any disease mentioned in part A or C, or any disease in part B. If his service is of more than 6 months, amount of compensation shall be. So how to calculate this amount? When the age of worker is 24 years, the monthly wages is 3,800, and the death or the fatality is there due to the disease. So here the formula is basic, that is 50% of monthly wages. So this 50% means 0.5. So here 50% means 0.5 monthly wages, that is 3,800, and multiplying factor. So depending on this age, so we have to refer the schedule, and in the fourth schedule, it is given that for 24 years, the multiplying factor or the refer factor is 218.47. So we have to multiply these monthly wages into 50% by the age factor. Then we got this number, right? That is 415,093. Likewise. So this is an simple example where we how to calculate the amount of compensation. And depending on the maximum amount or the monthly wages, we have to decide whether to go for the monthly wages or the total lump sum amount. So that decision is given by the Workmen Compensation Commissioner. But what we have referred in these sections and rules is that if monthly wages are more than 5,000 per month, then consider rupees 4,000 only for the purpose of calculation. So age factor is derived from the schedule 4, which is already mentioned. So this is one of the example.